Welcome to Monkey Physics IIT JEE NEET Foundations.
Yeah. Now next example. Here is a tap which is the opening of the tap which is at a height of 16 meters from the ground. Now the incident is the drops are falling at regular intervals of time. Drops are falling at regular intervals. Excuse me. Yeah. Now this and the situation is given as by the time first drop reaches the ground, fifth drop starts falling. Now they are asking find the gap between the drops. Find the gap between the drops, and this is the question. Now we need to focus on gap between the drops. Now what is a key point given when the first drop reaches the ground? So here is the first drop, and fourth, this is the fifth drop. So this is the first drop. Now in between how many drops are there? 1, 2, 3. Now this is a fourth drop, third drop, second drop, and the first drop. And this is a what given. And they are asking us what is a gap between the drops. Hope it's clear to you. Description is clear to you, right? Now how can you solve this equation? Let's take. Now again I want to redraw this. Here is the ground, and here is the drop 1, drop 2, drop 3, drop 4, and fifth drop. Okay, fifth drop. Now if this is a time t and this the time taken as 2t, because regular intervals, it is given as regular intervals. Now by the time this fourth drop has reached here, time t, then third drop and the fifth drop the time is 2t, and with the same the time here it is 3t, and the time here the first drop reaches the ground in 4t. Hope it's clear to you. What is the gap between these two drops? T. What is the gap between these two? Also t only. Gap between these two also 3t minus 2, t only. I mean t only. And gap between these two t only. So it falling at regular intervals of time. Now I want to write this. The depth fallen h1 is equivalent to half gt square. And this total is given already. How much is this total? 16 meters. Okay. I hope it's clear too. The total is 16 meters. Now what about h2? The drop, second drop fallen for the time of 2t, and the depth fallen is nothing but half g into 2t whole square. Now third drop has fallen the depth of half gt into 3t whole square, and the fourth drop has fallen half g into 4t whole square. Okay, and we have the idea about this. What is this? This total depth fallen by the first drop. This is regarding the first drop depth fallen. This is regarding the second drop depth fallen. This is regarding the third drop depth fallen, and this is regarding the fourth drop depth fallen. Hope it's clear, right? Now look at here, we are following this first drop. How much depth it fallen? 16 meters. Now how much is that? It's a half gt square if you are taking this, and of course what is this? 4 square 16. Now I'm keeping this t square term aside, and 4 square 16. 16 getting cancelled. So half gt square is equivalent to 1 meter. Half gt square is equivalent to 1 meter. Okay. Now look at here, h1 is equivalent to 1 meter, half gt square. We got it already. Now h2 is equivalent to, look at here, t square and 4t square. This is 4 half gt square, and this is 4 meters. Because half gt square is equivalent to 1 meter. Now h3 is equivalent to, of course, 3 square 9. So 9 into half gt square. So how much is that? 9 meters. h4 is equivalent to, so of course 16 into half gt square is equivalent to 16 meters. Now what is a gap? This is equivalent to 1 meter. Now what is a gap between these two? 3 meter. What is a gap between these two? 5 meters. What is a gap between these two? 7 meters. That's it, the answer. What is the gap between the first drop and the second drop? 7 meters. What is the gap between the second and third drop? 5 meters. What is the gap between the third and fourth drop? 3 meters. So that is what they ask us. Find the gap between the drops. They are nothing but 7 meters, 5 meters, 3 meters. This is a gap. It is concerned drops. Okay. Thank you.